Well, the Supreme Court has decided to uphold a federal law on Friday that bans guns for domestic violence abusers. The court rejected an argument pressed by gun rights groups, saying that the law violated the Second Amendment. So here to talk more about this is Josh Blackman, who's with the South Texas College of Law. Thanks for being with us, Josh.
Thank you.
So this was an 8-1 decision. Why do you think that it got so much support in the court?
The idea of giving guns to people who shoot and beat up their girlfriends is not a very popular idea. So I think even the more conservative justices said that we'll adopt a test that allows the government to take guns away from these people pose a clear danger to others. Only Justice Thomas was in dissent.
Yeah, and let's talk a little, obviously you were talking about, no one thinks that's a good idea. Talk a little bit about the threat that a potential abuser might pose if they have a weapon.
What's unique about this law is it doesn't apply to people who are convicted by a jury of having a domestic violence offense. It's enough for a judge to impose a temporary order saying stay away from this person because he might pose a threat to them. But this is a shift in the law, and that now the courts have upheld disarming a person not based on a criminal conviction but based on a judge's sort of temporary ruling.
What does this ruling do for domestic violence victims? I mean, perhaps this might help them to feel a little safer, a little more protected?
This law more or less maintains the status quo. The prohibition on people under these orders possessing guns, this law has been in the books for many years. The Court of Appeals here in Texas put on hold, but the Supreme Court said, no, this law is valid. So whatever protections existed 2 years ago will continue to exist going forward.
And obviously this is the Supreme Court ruling, but do you anticipate any other movement on this issue in the future, any other cases?
Well, this law applied to criminals who have a threat of violence, but imagine a non-violent criminal. The classic example, can Martha Stewart own a gun, right? You have a white-collar offense, why are you being disarmed? So I think the court still left open the possibility that someone who, engages in food stamp fraud or maybe some sort of corporate crime might be allowed to have a gun. I think this more or less shuts the door for people who have dangerous offenses in their background to possess firearms.
How much do you think that some of this, obviously we're in an election year, do you think some of these issues, as we're seeing this play out in the courts, will continue to be front and center moving forward?
I think for better or worse, the justices are aware of the headlines. They know there's an election coming up, and they probably do think about these sorts of things. But even apart from the election, I don't think that this crop of conservative judges were even willing to go that far. Only Justice Thomas did, because he found that there was no tradition of banning people on a mere temporary order. Rather, you required a criminal conviction by a jury to take away someone's guns.
Okay, Josh Blackman with the South Texas College of Law. Thanks so much for sharing your insights with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.